Hi guys, this is Prema Moore on behalf of International Yoga Club. Here is a video on meditation as I promised earlier. From a long time, a lot of my yoga students and my friends were asking me to create a video, but it never happened. And so here it is. I'm shooting this in this natural light without any studio equipments or special effects. So let's begin. What made you click on that link that said something about meditation? Maybe myths and misconceptions, or why meditate title. Well, I know, what kind of a question is that, right? I mean, you wanted to know about meditation, or you wanted to see if if this video has anything special that can offer deepen your meditation, isn't it? That's the answer, right? I want you to take just a second there and think with me and tell me if there is a feeling of benefit that you have in mind. Really, this is very important before we get into the entire topic. Is there a feeling that you have that said, I want some benefit out of this, which is why I'm clicking on this link? I want you to think for a moment. Because when we come to terms with our inner feelings, we'll be able to use this video much better to actually manifest things that we have been thinking about otherwise. If you have clicked on this link with the intention of having some benefit out of this video, please stay. You're the one I want. You know, meditation concept has been abused all over the world with these escapist theories and philosophies of just be simple, don't expect anything, live a meager life, and and meditate. Nobody knows why. I spent like many years before trying to figure out why is this meditation required? What is that I get? I mean, somehow we are attracted, we like the feeling of sitting like Buddha and meditating, and people seem to claim all around us that it gives you something extraordinary, but nobody ever explains what is that something that is extraordinary in it. So first we need to come to terms with that. First we need to define it properly as to what exactly is this, and why we're getting into it, and what's that we're going to get eventually out of it. First off, what is meditation? Now, there are too many dogmas, doctrines, theories, philosophies, and too many people have given this a lot of different definition and have made it confusing. In the earlier days, meditation was thought to be okay, something good mentally, but then you can't be doing this all day long or all night. That would just sound something crazy. I mean, basically we had thought that this kind of thing is for those people who are not success driven, who are not strong enough to stand for their lives, and kind of losers, and we had kind of pushed it away. That's what was there in our minds, right? Now, yes, the times have changed, and people have a different opinion about it. But still, I think there is a lot of fog around it as to what exactly is meditation, why we have to do it. When we take anything, we go to gym for a purpose, right? To gain weight, or to lose weight, or to get in shape, or whatever objective that we have behind doing so. Or we go for a jog for a lot of different reasons, whether it makes us feel good, or lose weight, or you keep fit, blah blah blah, to pursue some form of art for a reason. Some people say, okay, it gives me happiness and contentment. That's absolutely right, that's necessary, but then that's not just that. There's an ultimate benefit that you receive, that you yield from all that activity that you do. And if that does not happen, then you doing that activity for a long time in life is just basically pointless. So if you have a benefit in your mind of achieving a clarity of mind and decision-making abilities, to hone your skills and take them to the next level and become good at these kind of things, then I would say your objective is perfect. People have taken meditation to be the last thing after everything, whereas the fact is meditation is the first thing before you start doing anything really. But unfortunately, there aren't enough people to say this. There aren't enough places to actually realize this to begin with. Because if meditation happens to us, everything we do comes about quality. There comes about a quality about everything that we do, if really it happens to us. But we think, let me first get these grades in the school, let me first finish this course, let me first get this job, let me first reduce my fat, or shape up my body, and then I will sit and think about whatever that meditation is. Throughout this video you will find out how meditation can help anything, absolutely anything that you want to do. The benefits that you will yield from this activity called meditation. Nobody knows how long it's going to take, but then every day, every week you have a little bit of progress, and you will always go on feeling better and better than before. But ultimate benefit should be achieving a great clarity of mind, good decision making, the ability to understand complex theories, the topics that you never thought would be possible for you. For example, mathematics is something I hated, when I was in school. But now when I look at it with this experience behind me of meditating for so many years, anything I put my heart into is not a big deal. I've learned many instruments on my own. I have become a writer because of this meditation. I got into calisthenics from yoga, and I'm trying something very experimental in as my own design. And this ability, this physical strength as well, comes from correct way of meditating. I have tried entrepreneurship and succeeded to some extent in some of the gigs that I undertook, and I formed a band that I never even imagined that I would do one day, and did a pretty good job there. And these kind of things, if the best of your version does not manifest in the life that you are going to live while meditating, then the meditation that you're doing is not happening. So what exactly is meditation? Too many people have given too many definitions, and they're pretty confusing. So I'll try a different way. I'll try a simple and probably a fun way of explaining that. Think of a place that you've been to which has crazy amount of traffic in any city, including your city, any other city, which has crazy traffic. And you must have been to this place in the daytime and also in the night time, like somewhere midnight, around between 2 to 3 a.m. If you've been to that place, just think of that. Full of traffic, too much of noise, sweaty, dusty, basic restlessness. There's just this sound that goes on all the time, all around. The kind of place I'm talking about. Whatever it is, just think of a moment. And now you think of that same place at 2 o'clock in the midnight. You must have passed through on a drive, you must have taken a walk, you must have come across this kind of situation. Maybe when you were a kid, maybe now. But there is always a place. Think of that place. Haven't you felt so wonderful at that time before dawn? And how peaceful, calm and collected and nice it looks, isn't it? You can't believe that's the same place that is otherwise buzzing around with so much noise. You need to achieve that state of mind of this 2 a.m. Let's call it 2 a.m. state of mind. 2 a.m. This is how it should be. Calm, quiet, collected. Not much happening. If you're able to reduce this traffic that you have right now to that traffic over a period of time through meditation, amazing, great job. Then you don't need anyone to tell you about it further on from that point. all the to-do list, all the things that you needed to remember, all the motivation, all the external reference that you and I go to from time and again for the audio books or the video books, for whatever, mental stuff, the kriya, everything. All of that will be served to you by your mind. The clarity brings forth all these things automatically. And then whatever you're best at, probably you're very good at writing, probably, maybe you don't know that yet, maybe there's a poet hidden in you, maybe there is a great chef that's coming up, whatever your present job is, it's irrelevant, things change in life, but meditation brings light and clarity to these things, these skills that you have. Probably you will develop a skill along the way, probably you're very good at dance, you don't know, maybe you never tried it out. Or there can be a great list of things that I can go on telling you on what you can be. I have given you my example before. So based on those lines, I'm telling, if you can achieve the traffic-less hour, 2 a.m. state of mind, my friends, that's when meditation is happening to you. Please understand this. Like one of my masters said, meditation is not what you do. Meditation is something that you become available to. How beautiful is this, isn't it? Many years into meditation and my search, my quest, there's a crazy story about that, which I will be writing in detail in my upcoming book, Cocktail Yoga. Please check it out. In my quest, I had wandered around India and Nepal for a long time. And this sentence came to me pretty late, after connected to so many masters, going to so many ashrams, monasteries, and spending a lot of time with priests and pundits and whoever I could get my hands on. I see beauty in everything, so I have been to churches and temples and Buddhist monasteries and ashrams and God knows where. But anyway, coming back to the point, this line that I just told you from one of my masters came to me after all my search, how much pain could it have saved if had I heard. But such is life, there are things already there around us, but we take a long time to get to the realization of it. And I remember a great proverb from one of the authors that we go out in the world in search of something and return home to find it. Such is the trip of life. You have to go around to get there. That's how it's designed. Anyway, so think of the greatness of that one line. He said, meditation is not something you do, but you become available to meditation. That 1 second my eyes opened. Something happened to me. And as though everything was just falling in my lap, as though some benediction took place. That one line, that moment, we understand the difference that we have between this world and the inner world. And then miracles start taking place. So I think now I have given you some reasonable explanation as to what meditation is. Just focus on the traffic, reducing the traffic of your mind. There are many techniques, there are many ways. But ultimately the objective is just one, whether you fly by a helicopter to the top of the mountain, or you do rock climbing, or you do the hiking, trekking, or you go by rope, whatever, the objective is to reach there. So there are many ways to meditate, but the objective is that you've got to be able to reduce this traffic in your mind. You've got to have that clarity. You have to, after this you will become available to the current. If you've seen this movie called Finding Nemo, if I'm not wrong, There's this scene where this little fish called Nemo is trying to find his family or trying to get somewhere far away in the ocean. A long time I saw this movie, I don't remember, but then the scene got just imprinted in my mind. So he's deep down the sea, and there's this current of water, just kind of a tube you can imagine, where the current is very different than the current of the rest of the water around it. Like when you look at the ocean or you get inside the ocean, the current of the water is one thing, but if you go deep down, this current is something. It's like a tube. It's like a little tornado just going through, and it has a great speed to it. So he meets a tortoise. Usually tortoise kind of characters are very wise characters in these animation movies, which I like. And he meets this old tortoise, and he's also going with his family to somewhere. And he says the best way to go is to get inside this current. And Nemo hesitates a lot and asks questions like, why? Why is this required? I'm not comfortable. But then the tortoise says, just get inside and you will see. This is becoming available, that my master said, to the meditativeness, that feeling that we have that is meditative. There is a state which I'll explain in a little time. That's the current I'm talking about. That's becoming available to. In Sanskrit, this master says, "Dhyan ko prapta hona." Proof of meditation. You got to have proof of meditation, no matter which technique you're practicing, from anybody. Maybe it's coming to you from a seminar, from a book, or from a discourse, or from a guru, or from your friends, whatever. It's fine, as long as you're practicing some technique. It's much better than doing anything else. As you go on meditating, the clarity, the contentment, the peaceful feeling in you has to increase. Maybe slowly, but you see this compared to last week, to this week, and the next week. And the way you perceive things and the way you look at things, it could be anything. Like I have given you a lot of examples already. It could just be that, this example that I'll give you, which probably make things very clear to you. One day I was driving back from some meeting to my home in Bangalore. And, Bangalore is famous for great traffic, so I stopped. And then I saw this brand new car, just little that side in front of me. It had a crazy design. It had a very impeccable features. And I was just looking at that and wondering about human mind and the designs that they come up with, and then the kind of things that they have invented. This world is a great creation to me. I mean, I'm talking about the human creations. That this little brain of human can create such large machines and bridges and satellite and a train and planes and my God, whatnot. I mean, they can create a colony on water, which is a ship, which is an amazing thing for me since the beginning. I always have wondered about it. So I was looking at this car. It had a beautiful design. I'm sorry, I don't remember the brand or the technical terms. I'm not crazy about those things. But I do appreciate the beauty that I see and the efficiency that it had. And I was looking at that. And I looked at another car. And I looked at another car. All I could see was the back of the car and different designs. We had probably 3 minutes of stop there in that particular signal, which is heavy. And I had a lot of time to think about this, and I compared these, what do we call that? Indicators, right? Indicator lights, different indicators, like they're in different shapes and they glow differently. And the entire look, basically, had something to talk about that particular car, that particular brand, that particular company. I started thinking, how much thinking might have gone through these people these people who are scientists, who are engineers, that are busy in creating these kind of amazing things. Every little thing, like how it should be, what curve, how much space it takes, whether you would be able to see the person from the rear view mirror properly or not, and how much ease it gives you in navigating your car compared to other cars. Every little detail. And suddenly it went off in my mind at that moment that is focus, laser-like focus. It is also one kind of meditation. But we need to understand that meditation is not focus. Yes, it goes through focusing, that's the path, but it is not the synonym to focus. There is no exact word in English that can substitute meditation, dhyana, that we say. When we use this word in English, meditation, we mean to say we are meditating upon something, about something, we are thinking about something, or we are focusing on something, This is where science happens, and there's a limit. Beyond this particular limit, beyond this line of science, if you want to become available to that current, that's when you don't need this focus. But until then, you need focus. It's like a ladderless ladder that you need. That has been my experience. You need a ladder to climb until certain height, and after which you have to be able to delete that out of the scene, or the capacity to delete itself appears if your meditation is right. Here's one of my articles that was published in Nepal's National Daily just a few years ago about meditation. The picture that you see of the Buddha sitting in that posture is not chosen by me, that's chosen by the editors. It's just that they thought that's the apt pick for that article, especially in a land where Buddha was born. But I have written a line in that article. You can check out this article on my blog, on my website, which is still coming up. In a few days it'll be available. A lot of people have mistaken that posture of Buddha to be the posture to meditate, which is not true. This came to my experience when I was meditating on one of those hills next to this meditation center in Nepal. It's in the middle of the jungle, and it's just amazing. Can't really explain how beautiful it was. Many days, many times I used to go to this hill and I sit by myself all alone with the nature. That's when Prem happened. It's not my original official name, as you might know. I understood that day that sitting like this with the Padmasana is not the posture for meditation. This posture is the blossoming of the plant. It's the ultimate blossoming. When you get into meditation, when meditation happens to you, when your life becomes meditative, Buddha's posture happened during enlightenment. It's the absolute becoming of this existence. We mistook this posture to be the posture for meditation, and nobody seems to have pointed this out. Unless you're a yogi, you're into yoga and your body is quite flexible to sit like that, it's fine. But meditation has not much to do with that. When it deepens, when you go for hours in meditation, when you are trying to achieve samadhi-like state, the ashta anga of yoga, then probably that is required, but that's not the posture, that's not the posture. So you don't have to worry about it. You can just sit the way you can sit, with your spine up, and let that energy take over. Between that energy and you, what stands there is your mind. This all complicated, this extremely boggling, this monkey's master, this is greater than monkeys out there. This mind. If we understand mind management, which is my favorite topic, I'm in the process of making that video, and the topic will be available soon on my website. Also in the book that is upcoming, cocktailyoga.com. Mind. It is a beautiful thing, and it's also a most destructive thing. It's most useful and most useless as well. I'm not going to talk about how to meditate because a lot has been said on that. I'm just going to talk about those things that have been missed out, or probably people have not pointed out in a way that is apt to this generation right now. In the previous video I had mentioned that meditation happens in 2 stages. First is the stillness, and second is the movement. I'll explain a little bit about that. Stillness. A master of mind says in Sanskrit, Pragad Maun, which means majestic silence. Unless you're in the woods, or you've been to the forest or a jungle, or somewhere, the countryside, where there's absolutely no noise, except perhaps of the birds and the nature sound, which is natural. And you are all by yourself, and if you have spent hours and hours together with yourself, then there's a chance of you knowing what that majestic, absolute silence is like. This is a great drug. This is a great drug. Trust me. If this drug happens to you, then this complex thing called mind that we're talking about, that will be taken care of with that. Because silence has the capacity to pierce through the mind and calm that down, and then goes on dissolving. That's why you see people who live in such silent environments, quiet, serene environments, have less of stuff bothering them than the stuff that bothers city dwellers like you and me. When I say the first stage, stillness, is that stillness. If you've been to a lake or quiet backwaters, if you've seen the serene, calm and quiet feeling of the surface of the water, you know what I'm talking about. It has a magical effect on you, isn't it? Why do we go to the woods or nature? Why do we go? Because it has a healing capacity. A lot of us waste it on taking pictures and videos, which is not bad, It's good to take pictures and videos of that, but that's just a little. But what people seem to do is waste all their time on that. I've not seen people sitting in a corner quietly, at least for 4 to 5 minutes. You've gone to that place, you've taken this journey so long, you've traveled, and you're not letting it seep into your system, in your being. 5 minutes of that downloading, if you let it happen, creates amazing results, gives you such calm and peaceful state of mind. First time you will taste something with which a great revolution can begin in your life. But people don't let it happen. They're either in their groups, or they're with somebody, or they're present exactly at that spot where other people are present, If there's a stream can be looked at, you can enjoy that stream from many different angles, but nobody wants to go there. 90 to 95% of the crowd just goes to that spot where everybody is hanging out, They're either eating this, or they're just talking about it, they're taking pictures and doing selfies, which is all fine. I do it too. But it's also important that you take a few minutes, go to a corner, and be in the lap of that nature, and let it be. Let it just communicate to your consciousness. Let it happen. This stillness, the procedure of meditation is to achieve that exact stillness. You will be lucky if you have the access to a garden or to a quiet neighborhood, wherever you are. You'll be really lucky. I have changed places so many times looking for this thing. This is a precious commodity. I don't know if I should say commodity, but this is a precious, it's luxury, just to have good, quiet nature out of your window or surrounding you is a great luxury. But if you've got it, you're lucky, and you're already one step ahead to meditation. So whatever technique you practice, ultimately what you're doing is, when you're meditating, probably you're focusing on your breath, that is Buddhist technique, or you're looking at some object with open eyes, that's also a technique. They would ask you to imagine something, they would ask you to think about something. For initially, they would give you a mantra to chant, and there are many, many ways to achieve that. I don't deny any one of them. But when you start the technique, what happens while you're in the process of this is that there are some images, and there are some videos, and there are some audios that will happen to you. Other than what you're doing, probably you're chanting a mantra, but the repetition brings that effect. It becomes trance-like. And then slowly your mind drifts away from whatever you're doing. This is how we are able to multitask, isn't it? Somehow we have become appreciative about this thing called multitasking. But that's what we find ourselves doing, isn't it? You're cooking and you're thinking about something and you're humming a song at the same time, and you're watching the TV and trying to understand, So what happens is, whatever technique you're practicing, your mind drifts away. This is what you need to focus on. Not controlling the mind, not fighting the mind. Thoughts, let's say. You're not controlling thoughts. If some thoughts come, you don't say this thought should not come, this thought should have been this way, or it shouldn't have been this way. No control at all. Also, there's no fighting. You don't beat yourself mentally for thinking so much. You've been thinking all along. It's just that now you're observing, now you're becoming a witness to what nonsense is going on inside your mind. You're like, what the hell? I'm just jumping from a branch to another branch to another branch, just like monkeys. Even you find some monkeys sitting quiet at sometimes, they're chilling out once in a while during the day, But our mind goes on and on and on and on and on. Your job is to become more and more aware of that fact. That's it. And the thought that follows like a train, it goes anywhere. It depends on how hungry are you, or depends on who you're missing, depends on where you are, depends on what kind of pending work that you had, or what are the plans that you're thinking about, your relationships, blah, 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 so many things, You can go to one city and then it comes down to some cuisine, some food that you've eaten, some people, some statement that they said, and from that statement, whatever thoughts are triggered in your mind, and the response, and what you would have said, and what could have been said, how it could have been done, how it could be rearranged, and your finances, your banks, your house, your this and that, hundreds of things. It's irrelevant. In a way, it's relevant, but then the thoughts themselves are irrelevant. It just goes on. There's no point. And we think on the background that we are thinking this in order to find a solution, in order to shout out our next step, in order to find a plan and progress and achieve this and achieve that and get there and get here. This is what we think. This is the greatest trick that your mind plays, guys. This is how it cheats you. Please be aware. When thoughts are happening like this, one by one, it is not going anywhere. To come to this understanding, to come to this realization that I'm fooled by thoughts, constant, repetitive, relentless thoughts, that's when the traffic will start reducing. The traffic will not start reducing because you make rules, and you can't make rules on your body or mind that I'm going to do this, I'm going to get these thoughts bloody out, I'm going to get that peace wherever it is, I'm going to find it out. It's not a corporate deal. You can't go about doing that. It's yourself. Very subtle and very special. You have to have a very special way of tackling it. So no fighting, no control. You just need to witness it. And just by seeing it, that, oh, I am thinking. I'm on the train again. And it happens a lot of times, overwhelming. But more and more you realize, just smile and say, great, my score is high, If, for example, if someone says, I could catch myself in the act of thinking 5 times a day, and if someone says, I caught myself like 25 times a day, you might think the guy with 5, number 5, is a great guy with less confusion. You might think that the person with number 25 is more confused. It's not like that, it's the other way. In fact, this person who says 5 times is very unaware, very lost. At least the person who says 25 is willing to do something about it, and he's observing constantly to see what is happening, how many times it's happening, where it's going, where all it's going, It goes to many places. So like I was saying, some audio, some video, some clips, some pictures. This is what thoughts are about, of the past or the future, or the past. Remember one thing, there are no present thoughts. It's either what could have been, what should have been, what was, how it was, or what should be, what could be, how it will be, maybe. Either it's in the future or it's in the past. It's never in the present. If your mind is in the present, you're not thinking. You're just going with the flow and living it off. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about, here's an excerpt from my favorite topic, mind management, on the faculty of mind versus memory. One of my gurus, one of my masters gift this is to me, where I learned how the mind acts. He mentioned the faculty of mind. For example, you know where your house is. You know what you have to do tomorrow morning. You know where to go. Who are some people you recognize as some addresses, some events that you think about. All the functionality of the mind, that are necessary to live. Otherwise, you will be called mad. This functionality, this basic functionality of the mind is called faculty of mind. I didn't know this term before. It's an amazing term. And rest is memory. Just think how much of meditation these guys must have done. Just think how deep they must have gone in order to observe this subtle behavior of our consciousness. Can we even fathom this idea of the mind being a faculty and being memory? No, unless someone tells us, huh? Isn't this very beautiful? So the faculty of mind is to remember things and to calculate and to work. You know what your nature of work is. Probably you're in public relations, probably you're in HR, probably you're a techie, probably you're a teacher of some sort. All that what we call the information, the subject matter is faculty of mind, which happens to us less than 10%. And the rest 90% of the time, it's memory. It's just going back and forth, here and there, and just going random. You can see people are drinking tea and they're walking around somewhere in another city. Probably he's thinking about his hometown. You'll see some people walking on the streets, but you can look at their face that they're not present. They're not there. They're not taking a look around. Will you see this kind of expression on people's face when they walk around? Very few, I guess. Most of them are absent. Most of them gone. They're physically walking somewhere. It's all automated. It's the faculty of mind in action. It's doing its job. You're driving. Hundreds of thoughts, hundreds of calculations. What should be done? How we can handle this situation? What should be the next? Where do I go? Blah blah blah. The next is memory. Memory is always moving, always moving. This is the monster. This is the biggest monster that has us in its grip. To get away from its grip, to loosen from its grip, are the techniques. Whoever the master that you have, the gurus or your role models, your motivation figures, whoever you're listening to, people have offered many pearls of wisdom selflessly. Find them, practice them, but please be aware of this objective. The objective is to achieve the traffic-less state of mind. It'll happen in a few weeks' time or a few months' time. Nobody can tell how long it's going to take. It depends on you and your effort. Here's a simple mantra I'd like to give you guys that will keep you in that wavelength of meditativeness all the time. We spoke about mental traffic, and so something relevant that I could come up with. Just remember this simple BMW. B for breath, M for mind, W for water. How it works is, the moment it comes to your mind, take care of your breath. Go slow, breathe deep as much as possible, wherever you are. Also, it means that you have to do the breath work in one of your workouts. Whatever workout you're doing, if you're doing yoga, amazing. If you're not doing yoga, I would recommend that you get introduced to this before it's late. Other disciplines of fitness is also great. I have tried a couple of them, and I'm very fond of some of them, like karate, tai chi, lifting weights sometimes, and calisthenics is my present favorite thing. And I want to develop this capacity of jumping around like these guys do in parkour. I think that's the ultimate physical capacity one can build. I'm extremely fascinated with the capacity. So any form of fitness that you were into, you got to make sure that you breathe this heavy breathing that they do. When you all have experienced that moment when you work out, you run, you go to the gym, you do your stuff, and at some point in time, you're breathing frantically. That, preferably with the nose than with the mouth. But that heavy breathing has to happen. And W stands for water and waste. The waste goes out through your skin, through perspiration. The best way you can expel all the toxic stuff in your body is through sweating. Sweat like a pig. Sweat it out. And when that is going out, after you work out, you're bringing in fresh, clean water. Lots of water. So basically your day has to be about that. Breath work, breathing, meditation, mind. The moment this comes to your mind, say, oh, I'm in this thought train. Some train it'll be. Your ability to recognize the train then and there, wherever you are, and just mentally go on checking. Oh, okay, this one. Slowly. It'll settle. Just to make things really practical, and not only theory, just you're watching a video and just letting it go. So to make it really practical, I want you to please type BMW in the comment box right now. Just type it there, so that we have some kind of a communication, some kind of a give and take here, so that I get you more involved in this wonderful concept. You must have heard that story from Buddha's teachings. Very interesting story. They were passing through some forest where they crossed, Buddha and his disciples. A little stream, they just crossed. And after a while after that, one of the disturbed disciples of Buddha asked him, I am not able to find this. Nothing is happening to me. I've been practicing for a while. What it is? Buddha saw his disciple, and he saw that he's been asking this question for a long time, and he had no other way of explaining to him than giving him a task. And the task is very interesting here. He says, before I answer you that question, I am feeling thirsty. Will you go fetch me some water, please? So this disciple goes to that same stream that they crossed a little while ago. And as he proceeds to gather some water, he sees that because so many people passed, the mud has come up and mixed in the water. So he had to sit down for a while until all that mud settled, so that he can't bring that kind of water to his guru to drink, right? It's got to be clean. So he needed to sit down until it settles down. And it is said that at this moment he understood what he was asking his teacher, that let it settle. Slowly and eventually everything will settle. That's why in most of the spiritual documentaries or movies, you see them showing leaf, how it comes about and how slowly it settles down. So this is how the traffic in our mind, by observing, the only way to do it is to catch yourself in the act, is to become aware of the thought. The moment you are aware, it gets deleted. You cannot follow the thought. That will be stupid if you follow the thought. Some funny thought will be going on, and suddenly BMW, and then you're like, oh, I was on that train. You cut it and let it be. And your mind comes back to the source that is you. And again, as the mind's habit, it'll board another train, it'll get into some other tube, it just goes on like that. Then again, you become aware, oh, another tube, another train, another bus, another something, another kite maybe. So by and by this practice, when you sit for meditation as well, sitting is the best form, because that's when you will be able to see all those audios, videos, images, and those thoughts, all the project plans and the concept and this and that, everything taking place there. And watching, being aware and cutting them off. Slowly you will see that your traffic has reduced to a lot less. Then you will find a great clarity of mind. Your decision-making capacity increases. As an employee or as an entrepreneur or as anybody that you are right now, you got to be doing something for a living, right? That place that you are at, the efficiency of doing that job, or the capacity of taking to the next level, whatever it is, it could be a managerial level, it could be a presidential level, it could be a leader's level, I don't know, it could be anything. But this all comes from that. All the design that has come about in this wonderful creation called this Android. Once upon a time, phones used to be those heavy objects, isn't it? And you take the dial, people who enjoyed that, I guess. We don't get to see them. But then that phone becoming all of this, that little thing, and that can do so many things, so many amazing things, that we carry in our pocket. All these designs, all the construction that we have around all the cities, all the great stuff that we are enjoying today have come from that focus, that clarity. To achieve this clarity, you need to focus on the traffic. That's all. Please remember not to fight, not to control. You cannot control your mind. You cannot fight your mind. That would be very unwise if you did that. Just watching, just witnessing, it'll disappear. It is like this ghost that appeared from nowhere, just an imaginary one. And the moment you come to the realization that there was this imagination, it's off. That's how it works. And that decision making gives you better habits. Those better habits will give you better actions. Better actions will give you better thoughts. Better thoughts. It's all cyclical, it goes on. Everything is interlinked. Your better concepts, better way of understanding things, complex theories you will start understanding. If you always hated science, after this period, I'm saying, you will be able to perceive that with much ease than you ever thought was possible before. If you hated technology and technical stuff, you'll be able to slowly open up and understand that. Probably you don't like cooking, you'll get it. Skills are the measurements. The more skilled you are, the more benefits you receive, isn't it? Where do these skills come from? They come from this meditation, my friends. If you understood it in a correct manner, correct way, this is where it comes from. After this is the consciousness. What we talk about, happiness and sadness, because until then it's just achievement. It's the proof of yoga. It's a proof of meditation. If all that you're doing is in a correct sync and you're executing them in a correct way, then you will see these small proofs along the way. You'll see that there's some clarity that's coming up. You'll see that there's some ease of understanding things that's coming up. There's this communication. The communication that you have right now or you had before has a very great difference if meditation is happening correctly. And then comes the bigger question of the purpose of life and understanding and this peace that they keep talking about, which is neither happiness nor sadness, all this concept. That comes in the second stage, when there's movement. When you have become available to the energy that is meditative around in the existence, then whatever you do, wherever you go, however you are, slowly you will see the implication of this in your daily work. Probably you're cleaning, probably you're walking, probably you're driving to work, probably you're preparing a presentation, probably you're talking to people, probably there's a problem that has come up and that used to give you a cringe in your stomach before. Now probably it won't give. Probably it'll show you a different angle. It kind of zooms out like Google Maps, and you'll be able to see much greater things around. For example, I had used this example when I was a trainer in Dell. From the ground floor, in just an imaginary area, from the ground floor you would be able to see there's a little garden here and there's this wall that's just left out. There's probably this small road and a couple of other houses around. And on the first floor you'll be able to see a little more, like beyond the garden, beyond that wall, what exists, whether it's a dump yard or whether it's a graveyard. Most of the times it happens to us, right? When you go all the way on top, to probably fourth floor, fifth floor, you get to see the entire area, and then probably it will shock you. Probably it will amaze you. It will amaze you if there's a beautiful stream flowing that side, that you've never seen, that you would never experience if you didn't get to this height. Or probably there's a gutter flowing that side, that will probably depress you. Both have happened in my experience. From this experience, I took this example. This is how it works out when meditation happens to you. The ability of the mind to zoom out and look at a bigger picture and come up with solutions that you never thought were possible. Finally, meditation and fitness. How it can enhance your fitness. Look, you need some form of basic fitness in order to get into meditation. But then it is meditation that will give you a complete boost and a complete push to your fitness goals. It's kind of a cycle, It doesn't end at some point, it doesn't start at some point. It is within, It is interlinked. If you're a person who is not much into fitness, at least 3 to 4 times a week, you probably play a sport or hit the gym or do your yoga. go for a jog. As I said, it's got to be perspiration, deep breathing, and all that. Okay, so this basic workout is required in order to start meditating. After this, you sit down wherever you are. Sit down with your spine up and close your eyes. For God's sake, guys. I've seen in so many gyms, so many yoga schools, can you believe that? And I have seen everywhere where people exercise in any form. This is one thing that they miss. They have done a great workout. Their body is vibrating. There's great amount of energy that is oozing out. And now they go waste it away on things. They'll start eating, they'll start watching TV, chatting up with someone or doing some stuff, getting into their daily lives, their daily jobs. After a workout, for God's sake, sit down for 15 minutes. If possible, 20 to 30 minutes, but 15 minutes. Because you have a golden chance there to get into that current of the meditation faster, because your body is already vibrating. You've given a good workout to your body. There's so much energy that's been produced, and every cell, every fiber of your body is pulsating. That time, if you can centralize that energy and then lift that up to your consciousness, this factory, you'll see amazing results. All you have to do, after the workout is done, sit down in a corner where nobody bothers you and just watch what is happening within your body. Just watch. You might have done a very great back-bending session in yoga. You might have executed a great amount of asanas. You might have pumped some iron, or you might have taken a great jog, or you might have done a karate session or a punching bag session or MMA or whatever it is. Your body is vibrating in some level, in some way, at some level. Take the advantage, sit down. Let all these vibrations, all the pulsation, centralize. And then it starts moving upwards. All you have to do is to just watch it. Don't regulate. Don't take control of your body. Control is over. Your workout is over. Your control is over. Okay. Now you become controlless. Just submit. Sit down. If you want, listen to a song or two, preferably lyrics-less music track, whatever you like. Meditative tracks, there are thousands available on YouTube for free. Meditative tracks or soft music or whatever makes you happy. Just one or two songs until you get into the mood. Quiet. And see what is happening inside. And see how all this energy is getting collected. And then you will see how it goes up. There will come a day where you will even forget that you're breathing. It's amazing, it's a terrific experience. I can't explain. Words are too limited to express this feeling. And then you will see that line that they keep talking about, that sushumna that they keep talking about. You will see those chakras that they keep talking about, unless which it's very difficult for you to really fathom the idea of chakra. It looks very confusing otherwise. You will see how the energy points, the energy moves from one point to another, to another, to another, like that. Takes time, perseverance. But after your workout, please guys, don't miss this golden opportunity. Those vibrations that are created at that time are the best. Sit down, submit and surrender. 15 minutes, you go dead to the world. Just let it be. And it'll show you what needs to show you. For example, you're pumping iron in a gym. For example, you're executing asanas. When your meditation has deepened, the same asanas, every inch of your body, every fiber, every muscle you talk to. And then you will understand why these asanas were designed in such a way. What do they keep talking about? What are the sutras? all this will come to you automatically. And with much ease, you will progress. And you will see how fantastic your body responds to you. How amazingly flexible it becomes. It is just unbelievable. If you're into martial arts, the speed and the precision that you need to execute comes from this. For example, these Shaolin movies, watch some of them. They talk about, all the time they talk about meditation. Yes, they are moving. It's meditation in movement, if you will. And if you're a dancer, oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you if you're a dancer. The amount of passion with which you dance, the kind of formations your body takes, and the energy and the vibes that you give away from those postures and those movements, simply electrifying. Try it out. I've mentioned many things that have happened to me by meditation, and here is a shocking thing that I'm going to tell you, that I'm treating this vitiligo that I have since a few years now. This happened in Nepal, just by meditation, and some Ayurvedic help, but most of it is to meditation. This is an autoimmune thing, which means it's a disorder that my own body cells think that these are not good, and they fight with each other. It's nothing but stress. Stress is what? Friction. It went to this extent, this great level. I have found myself about 2 times, 3 times before in my life in extreme conditions, extreme stressful, traumatic situations, which have caused this. I have come to understand that this is nothing but stress. Yes, like they say Viruddha Ahar in Sanskrit, in Ayurveda, it has a meaning, but then before, Viruddha Ahar means unacceptable food or opposite food than what your body needs. That's what it means. But this habit of eating senselessly comes into us when we are not aware. And awareness is what we gain from meditation. When the meditativeness is absent, these kind of things happen. But nevertheless, I'm happy that this has come to my realization, and I can see that so much of it is already reducing. And in the next 1 or 2 years, I'll be absolutely chocolate brown as I have been born. So I'll see you then there. Okay guys, with this note, I would like to sign off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share and subscribe and comment, all of those things that you do. Also, I would like to tell you one thing, why the YouTubers ask you to hit the subscribe button and bell button is not only because you don't miss the video, that's because it increases our internet mileage. I'm telling you honestly. So if you think for my effort this little thing can help, please go ahead and hit those buttons and help me. Thank you so much. Have a great day.